Hey, Ordinary Faith, how's it going? Today, I just want to talk to the moms of Ordinary Faith as we're looking at going back to the center, getting back to corporate worship. There are going to be some additional challenges because we are returning, but with social distancing guidelines. And so as we do that, we're not going to be able to offer nursery or kids church and things like that right away. So I wanted to do this video and maybe help moms and dads prepare for having your kids with you in church. This is really a blessed opportunity because it gives us the opportunity to worship together as a family, to sit together as a family, to just be that family unit. And So let's talk about some ideas. First of all, we will try, as we get back into the center, to have a designated area, maybe like a cry room. So if you have a baby or a toddler and you need to leave the service to go nurse your baby or to quiet your toddler, we'll have an area for you to go and do that. There won't be workers there to receive your child, but you can go and step out of the service and have a place to go and be comfortable. It'll probably be up by the entrance of the senior center. There are some nice couches and chairs up there, and so that will be available to you. One thing I want to encourage you to do is talk to your kids about what to expect. If you just tell them we're going to church, they're going to expect it to be like it was before, and it's not. It's not going to be like it was before. So how many times have we as parents taken our kids to something like a wedding or a funeral or something like that, and we're kind of upset by the way they behaved when they're there? And sometimes it doesn't dawn on us that this is the first time this child has ever been to a wedding. They had no idea what to expect. And not knowing what to expect, they also didn't know what was expected of them. So I want to encourage you to talk to your kids about what to expect. And, let them know that there won't be kids' church. We will be sitting together as a family. And there are things that you cannot do. You cannot hug your friends or share your candy with your friends. And you can't sit with your friends and things like that. So be sure that you think through a little bit. You may not know exactly what to expect yourself, but you're an adult. You can kind of think through those things. And so talk to your kids about that, what to expect. None of us have ever been here before. We've never returned to corporate worship after being separated because of a pandemic, and we've never had to go in with social distancing guidelines and things like that. So think about that and talk about that with your kids. Another thing is, and I mentioned it earlier, is to let your kids know what is expected of them. Just before you come to church and let them know you are going to be sitting with mom and dad. You are going to have to be quiet and listen. And, we do expect the wiggles. Children are children. And we need to remember that when we get together as a church, it's like family. When you go to grandma's house, you don't just send all the kids into the bedroom and leave them there by themselves and expect them to be really quiet and good and all those things. So we do expect the wiggles and things like that, but at the same time, we're training our kids to sit quietly and respect, and in that there may be some resources provided for you. We're hoping to provide like a coloring sheets for the younger kids, maybe a kids worship bulletin for the older kids, maybe sermon notes, outlines for the older kids. And so there may be some things provided for you, but I'm going to give you some ideas of some things that you can do to prepare as well. This is a great time for your, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders to bring their Bibles and learn to use their Bibles, even if it takes them, 10 or 15 minutes to find the passage that the pastor's preaching on. That they have that time, they're sitting there quietly, they're thumbing through the Word, and they're getting familiar familiar with using their Bible. They could even copy down, once they find the passage, copy down the verse or something like that. It's a great opportunity for them to really learn to use their Bibles. And maybe even your teenagers, have them take notes on the sermon and tell them ahead of time, hey, you're going to lead the discussion at lunchtime for the whole family based on your notes. And I guarantee you they'll pay closer attention if they know that they're going to be responsible for the information that they take down. So with all that being said, what I really want to share with you is something that I'm excited about. I use this with my own kids, and I will be using it as we go forward with my youngest. And that is a church bag. And so I'm going to kind of give you some examples, and I think you could put this together from what you have at home. And so I'm just going to show you. But first of all, before we get started, you just grab a bag, a good sized bag that you can take to church with you. And this bag is going to be for church use only. Don't allow your kids to play with it, and don't let your kids help you put it together. Do it when they're not around and when they're not looking, because then it's going to be a surprise what's in there. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I tell my youngest to go pack up some toys for this road trip or whatever, and he always packs up stuff that he doesn't really want to play with. He just goes in there and grabs stuff. So this way, they're not putting it together. They don't know what's in there. You're going to put it together, but you can put it together from things you have at home. So remember, this is only going to be used for church. You don't let your kids use it any other time of the week, because we don't want it to get old and familiar to them. We want it to be new. And with that in mind, every week or two, change a thing or two out of it so that it continues to be fresh and exciting. Leave some of the stuff in there that they've had, week after week, but just change things out a little bit as we go along. And that is a great way to keep them interested. Hey, what's in here now? Make sure that it's quiet toys and quiet activities. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. One thing I have a couple of things here you don't want to put in your bag, because with little boys, an airplane in the hand of a little boy or a motorcycle, they become the motor, and they don't even realize they're doing it. They can't just not be the motor. So these things you don't want to put in your church bag. So those are out, okay? But most of everything else I'm going to show you is in the church bag, okay? One more thing before we start looking at the items is this is a great opportunity to teach your children the value of other people, to be courteous, to care about the people around them. And I heard in a parenting thing that we did before, they use the term preciousness of others. You teach your children that other people are precious and important. And this is a great opportunity to do that, because you're going to tell your kids, I have things for you to do and play with, but you need to keep them low and in front of you. We don't, fly our whatever, even, little boys, if you give them a crayon, it can still become an airplane. We're not going to do that up in the air because there are people behind us that will distract. And so it's an opportunity to teach them the preciousness of others. Okay, so you ready for some ideas? All right, so the first thing, obviously, everybody thinks about is a coloring book, okay? And that's a great idea, especially if your kids like to color. Make sure that you have crayons or colored pencils. I have a pencil bag that has colored pencils in it. Make sure you have a good or 2 or 3 sharpened pencils, just regular pencils, because there are other things they're going to need that for. And maybe a sharpener. I suggest if you just do crayons, get them out of the box. Don't bring them just a box of crayons, because those are so frustrating for little kids, especially if they're going to put it back at the end. Put them in even a Ziploc bag. But so you can start with a coloring book and crayons. And all of these I found in my house. Now, some of these you may not have, but you might want to look for them. And there's lots of things at Dollar Tree. I'm going to tell you some things about Dollar Tree too. I have stencils, lots of different stencils. My kids used to get these in Christmas treat bags and birthday party bags, and And you probably have some stencils around your house, and you don't need a whole lot. But grab some stencils. Make sure you get, again, pencils or colored pencils and paper. Have the paper in there so that they have a place to do that. Stickers. I bet everybody has lots of stickers around their house. Bring, a piece of construction paper, fold it in half, and have them, use stickers on that or whatever. Magnets. We have tons of different kinds of magnets at our house. Those are great, quiet toys. And, I really believe that if you keep kids' hands busy, their ears are listening. And you may have to remind them, we're not going to talk about it right now, but you can play with it. And that's fine. You can do that. So magnets is a great thing. These, again, we have a little container in our bedroom, or in Cayman's bedroom, that has, McDonald's toys and all kinds of little trinket toys. And I went through that container, and that's where some of this stuff came from, like a wooden mustache. Or this little troll that you can fix its hair or whatever. This little guy came from Cowboy Donuts. He's quiet. He doesn't make any noise, but he bends. And he doesn't stretch, but he bends. So you could play with that. Squishies. Look at this. This Slumberjay squishy. This is, fun for little kids, especially if it's a slow return squishy. Some of them you squeeze and they take a few minutes to fluff back out, and that you'll be amazed at the things that will intrigue your kids for a few minutes when they know, keep your hands busy, but you have to sit still. These are from the Dollar Tree, I'm pretty sure, and they don't move or make noise. And again, your child, like some kids could play with these quietly, yours may not, so you need to use some discretion in that. Hand puppets. Hand puppets are great, just have to keep it quiet. But they're, soft and easy to play with. If you don't have these kind of hand puppets, again, make one out of a glove. Slime or silly putty, you want to, be careful about getting it on the furniture and things or the clothes. But it's a good, use their little hands to stretch and pull and things like that while they're being quiet. I found a Magnadoodle, great for writing and playing in church. Quiet toy. It can be erased quietly. I found some things that you may not have on hand, but I would encourage you to go look at your bookshelves, because you may have books, especially picture books like, Usborne encyclopedia books that have really interesting pictures in them. Even if your child's not a reader, those things are so much fun. So go look at your bookshelves. I went to my bookshelf and I have these things called Zoomers. And I forgot I had them, and they have tons of information in them, and they do all kinds of fun stuff. And again, you may not have these on hand, but you may have something fun like this on hand that you can introduce to your kids for the first time in your church bag, and that's a lot of fun. I also have, and you probably have some of these, how to draw books. If you have a little artist, this is a great time. And I let my kids, if they want to do something like this, I let them get on their knees in front of the chair and use the chair as a table. And that's an option. I try not to let them crawl around on the floor. But if they want to do something like this, use the chair as their table and just keep it in front of the chair. Here's a fun option. Again, you may not have these, but you might want to look for them on Amazon or something. Wikistix. Okay, this is like yarn that's coated in wax, and I have a board that they stick to, and you can they just are very moldable and pliable, and you can make all kinds of fun stuff and stick it to the board. We also have a Wikistix book that has places where like here you give the alien an antenna and things like that. So, there are toys out there that don't make lots of noise, that can be fun and really time-consuming for your kids. So Wikistix is what these are called. Check them out. I think Amazon probably has them. Another thing is Laurie Puzzles, Laurie. Laurie Puzzles are made out of this crepe rubber stuff, and so they're quiet. These puzzles are kind of going to fall apart in my bag because of the way they're made, but Laurie makes a lot of puzzles that are just tons of different fish, and every fish has a different spot. It's not like these where the pieces connect. But Laurie, Laurie, I believe it is, puzzles, they're great for church bags. And then my last suggestion is to maybe have a snack included in the bag or a piece of candy. If kids get hungry, they tend to get kind of stubborn and don't want to listen, and they don't even realize, or thirsty. You might want to keep just a bottle of water in your church bag. So I hope this helps. And remember, we love children at Ordinary Faith, and we're excited for the time when we get to be back in kids' church. But until then, and we probably will be introducing kids' church back in phases, starting with the younger kids that really need it. But right now, we're not able to offer any of that. So we just wanted to maybe give you some ideas and help you prepare to have your kids in church with you. And try not to get super stressed about it. But it is an opportunity to teach and train your children how to act in church, or how to act in these kinds of settings where you have to kind of sit and listen, and even if you have to be bored for a few minutes. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you soon.